Hello, welcome to my 3D Amuser channel. This is Mech tutorial. In the previous tutorial, we learned how to create detailing in Zbrush. I showed you guys extraction technique, panel loops, as well as masking technique. So now in this tutorial, what we're gonna do, we're gonna create all those detail from the techniques we learned. So let's start from this piece right here. So I always do one side and I mirror it on the other side so that it's easier to work on it. So I'm going to get rid of the stuff I don't need. So this is my old mesh and this is my old mesh. So this is the polished one. So we're gonna work from there. I'm gonna bring it down and I'm gonna duplicate. It's always have a backup. It's good to have a backup. So that's why I usually work. So let's mask this area and work from here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to my mask pen, and you could paint your mask. It's always better to work with a tablet instead of working with mouse, because sometimes it's really easier to paint mask and it's really easy to polish your mesh. I'll show you what I mean by that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say let's mask this area. I'm holding down Alt to erase the mask. So I'm using my tablet, so it's easier to erase and do all kind of stuff with this. So make sure you get used to the tablet so it's easier. So once I have the mask here, so what I'm going to do is extract, as we learned from the previous tutorial. And I don't want the thickness to go up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say 0.05. And I don't want double, so I'm going to say hit. So now it created a shape. I'm going to accept it. So it's going to pop up here. So there you go. Now we got the shape, but still I kind of like it, but the shape is kind of really wonky. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have the mask at the same way, and I'm going to mask, and I'm going to say no, go to polygroups, and I say group masked. So now we have the mask. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete my other meshes so we don't see it. So now we have it. Let's make this shape really awesome. So I'm going my solo mode. There is something here. Let's get rid of that lump and go to slice curve and make the shape. So to create sharp angles, you hit Alt twice and it will give a there you go, and there you go. So now we have the shape. I'm going to delete other side. I think there is two sides to it, so you can't see it. So in order to see both sides, you go to double-sided. I'm going to assign a shortcut key for it, so I know. And you see there are two geo. What I'm going to do, I'm going to say auto groups, so it's going to give two groups. So I'm going to delete that one. So now we have this. So now I'm going to smooth this mesh a little bit. So now what we could do, we could create a new we're going to create a new geometry for this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ZR mesher and target polygons and adaptive descent and everything to 100. So now I've hit it. Now I got a different shape, but there's something, but I'm not worried about it. I could sculpt on it. So what I'm going to do is, yeah. So now if you see, you know, that portion is gone. So now I could like go here and like do whatever I want. So I smooth it. So that's what I wanted. So now we have the shape. Go back here. We could see it's pretty good. If you want, we could make it awesome by moving some edges, make it really straight. You know what, even this one's, it's not straight, so let's make it straight. How about that one? It's better to do it first, like in the beginning, than later. So like even this one, I want like sharper edges like that. So now we have a good shape. So what I'm gonna do, or else we could make the shape. So I'm holding down shift, go here and select the lasso tool and add this and make it a different poly group for this one. You'll know group visible. So I'm gonna send a shortcut key for it. So now if you see there are two poly groups, what I could do now here is go to panel loops. You will see the magic now. Go to panel loops, edge loop, and if you hit panel loop, it gives two different shapes. But the only problem with me is like if I hit it, it's gonna smooth everything. So I'm gonna put the polish to 0. So now I have it here. It's pretty good. It's not bad, but I want to add some loops here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit B, go to ZR modeler, and I'm gonna insert loops here and here and here, and you can also add one if you want here, and this will hold up all my geometry in places. So now if I smooth this mesh, boom, so I have it. What I could do now is I could literally go to deformation and polish by group or polish by groups. So there you go. So there are some kind of like things happening, but I could like go and literally fix it by painting it out, smoothing it out, I mean. So still we could add like some more detail. So I want to make this shape even a little bit interesting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this edge loop and this edge loop from here. I'm going to inverse it. It's the same one. No, I'm going to take this one and this one. So now we have this two. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to geometry. So I'm going to delete IR, no, not group loops, edge loop. So now I have a loop. What I'm going to do, I'm going to separate this two, and I'm going to say crease. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go again, inverse it, and go to my deformation and inflate a little bit out, little bit. Oh, that's too much. That's too much. So now I have there. So now if you see the shape from here, it kind of have this border there. So if I smooth now, if I say polish by groups now, you could literally see it polished by crisp edges or polished by features. Okay, I have to add some loops here because this kind of freaks out. Now it will say polished by groups. There you go, boom, I have it. Or equals to subdivided from here. So now if I go from here, we see we created that panel from that point, and Actually, I don't like this shape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna literally pull this in. Or else, okay, let's do this solo. Okay, let's fix all those detailed stuff later. So there you go. Now I have it. So let's work on some other piece, or else let's fix this piece even more. I hit C, so it went to the curve mode. So I'm going to delete my curve. I'm going to be in the lowest subdivision and hit B and go to the move tool. So just play with the shape to make it really straight. You can also do this in Maya too, but sometimes I prefer doing it in Zbrush because it's easier to fix something. So now if I smooth it, there you go. Now we have like a good shape in here. That's what I wanted. I separated both shapes, but there's some kind of like shape in there, so I'm going to fix it as well. So now we fix that. Now we added this shape. Now what we can do, we can work on this piece. And you can see this piece. So go here, and I'm going to say so this time I'm going to use some kind of different technique. Let's see if it works. What I'm going to say, go to geometry, a bit lower, and I'm going to say, where's my subtool? Extract, the same thing, accept it. So there you go, boom. So it's right here. So now in this one, what I'm going to do, if you see, it gives different polygons. What I'm going to go to geometry and go to edge loop, and you say group loops. So group loops, what it does, it creates group loops based on the edges. So what I'm going to do now, go back and turn off my, so go to deformation tab and polish it. So that will help you to, and you could say I'll polish by groups as well. So that polish everything by groups. So now we have a good geo. We could literally smooth this from this point. For some reason I'm keep on hitting C. Now I could do is go to move brush and fix my shape. So now I can go to my trim dynamic brush. I'm gonna hit, I assign a shortcut to it. So I hit 3, it's gonna pop up. So now I'm going to smooth this. So I'm literally going and making the shape crisper. That's what I'm doing, you could see. And I'm gonna do solo on this. So whenever you extract 3D mesh, it's gonna put in a new subtool. So you could solo it out, then you can work from there. Because it's a separate subtool, so it's not gonna affect your original mesh. So there you go. And I could make this even smoother by what's happening is something called replay playback. That's what happened. I hit 1, so it's going to do the same thing. So where did it go? Oh, there it is. My my Zbrush kind of freaked out. You guys saw that? That happens, you know. So now if I go back, now I have the shape. That looks pretty good. It's not bad. So I'm going to add the shape to there. So I want the shape to hugging on the previous shape, so it kind of looks like it's layered and stuff, you know. So I'm gonna add like visual noise at the end, like detailing part. I'm not worried about it now. So I'm making sure my things are matching it perfectly there. You could see there's some kind of like inconsistencies. So now I could do is polish by features. So or polish by crisp pages, both work on, or polish by features, polish by groups. You could play with it. There you go. Now we have some good shape, and now what I'm gonna do now, I'm keep on eating something. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna add some volume to my mesh because I want to be really smoother. So now if I polish it, it's gonna have the shape. Polish it, there you go. So now I have the shape, and I could even polish it more, or else you can use clipping brushes to carve away this shape. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my clipping brush. Boom, do you see, like, it just created this awesome shape there. That's what I wanted. And even here, so now carve out this shape. So boom. So now if I see the shape, it looks pretty good. So now what I could do, I could smooth this and polish by groups, and I could like trim dynamic certain things if you want. So if I see, okay, if I go here and see it, boom, that shape is done. Okay, let's work on what shape? Let's work on this shape, the one right here. Sometimes you can also use primitive as well. You don't have to work on certain shapes. Okay, I think it's going to be primitive, so I'm going to be working on this piece. So this is kind of like organic shape. It's not like an art surface. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say the same technique. What we're going to do, extract it and accept it. And if you go and see here, so sometimes make sure the masking is not on the other side too. So if I go here, see there's masking on the other side. So that's why it extracted two shapes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to erase the shape. So now I see extract and let's say accept, and boom, it's right here. So there is like some kind of shape created. So I'm going to get rid of it by select lasso tool and alt edge. So for everything I've assigned art keys. So if I go to modify topology, if I see delete hidden, so I have alt edge. So if I do that, it's going to remove all the shapes. So now we have this, the same thing. What I'm going to do is go here, subtool, group loops, and go to deformation tab and just polish it. Polish by groups. That's what we want it. Now if you see the shape, it's kind of like good, but it's not that good. If you're not happy with the shape, what you could do, get the shape and delete everything else and go to geometry and go to ZR measure, and you could increase the size and do this. So this will give a decent shape. Then you could like so now we have the shape and everything. Now I could go here, hide my geo. So display properties double. So that's what I did because I couldn't see my mesh. So I am smoothing it inside so the mesh gets smoother. So I'm using my move brush to hug it in. So it kind of like interacts with the so once I have this, I can also make it bigger too if I want. So now I have the shape. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to polish a bit so it kind of like polish by groups, polish by groups pages. So that helped a lot. So I'm going to pull it in a little bit. So now if we go and see the original mesh, I want to make sure we are following the concept. Yeah, it's there. But it kind of have this shape. So there you go. We have the shape now. So I'm gonna deformation it. So I'm gonna relax a bit. Polishing, that would help. And now I could go and fix it because I want to have like a smoother surface. That's what I'm up to, because once you have light on the geo, it should be smoother. So what I'm going to do now, I could do panel loops on this. So I go here, edge loop, and my thickness should be 0.1 and the panel loops, and that freaked out a bit, so I would say 0.05. I want to go in. For some reason it didn't work, so I'm gonna check it out. Let's say 0.1. 0.1 is too much for it, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say 0.001. Yeah, that worked. Okay, what I'm gonna do is the elevation is 100, so I'm gonna say minus 100. So it will go in instead of going up. If you could see, it goes in. So that's what we wanted. So now once I have it, I'm going to go and polish my surface. So there you go, boom, we have it right there. So now I could subdivide it. Now we get like a really smoother shape. I could also change like shapes like once I have it. That's why I'm not worried about anything. So here, see, I'm just going and making my shapes and make it a little bit better. So I want this to pop up a little bit. So this will add like some kind of details that you will see once I have there. So now if I go D, now if you see, I want to make this shape a little bit better, so that will work out. So there you go. So hit F. Boom. So now it kind of like adds some kind of like details there. That's what I wanted, and it's right there. So I could like plug in some kind of like a wire going through inside. So that's my idea behind it. Now we add the shape. If you want, we can refine the shape even further by clipping brushes. I'm not worried about my geometries here. So there you go. So even this one, you could cut it now. So you could do that as well, but you know, I'll just cut the shape there, let it be like that. And if I solo it, so I'm gonna hide everything to see how my so there you go. So now we could even sculpt here some details as well. So now I'm going to add some details here. So to break the plane even further, actually I'm gonna use clipping brush to get crisp edges. Okay, there you go. So now if you see, I kind of added this detail here, so that kind of gonna pop up. You could also make it even further prominent by using Damien Starter Brush. So there you go. So now you could see we can add a lot of details there. That's what I wanted. So boom. Also you could use edge polish brush. So this brush gives sharper edge like this. It gives like eye polish in your geo. I'm doing it a little bit slower and smoother. So there you go. So I'm just boom. So now we almost finished this part. You know, I'm going to have the details at the end, not now. And so let's do another. I'm gonna call today for today because I'm gonna do another part from this video, and watch out for it. And if you guys have any questions for the stuff I did, please write me at 3dambus@gmail.com. I will happy to answer your questions. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. And if you like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and comment below. And thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and have a great day.